my guides keep giving me this imagery of a spiral. And the spiral starts small. In fact, there's a base level to it. There's a platform, and on top of this platform, there's a spiral. And it starts small, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and sort of spirals upward concentrically, and gets wider and wider and wider. And they told me that this platform that this spiral is sitting on is essentially the third dimension. The third dimension is one level. And then as we elevate, we move higher. And the only way to elevate and move higher is to wake up to the third dimension or realize what it is. The realization is the release, right? The awareness is the release. So once we're aware that there's a deeper dimension to our lives than the third dimension, that's when we automatically start entering the spiral. And each dimension, whether you go to fourth, fifth, what have you, there's a series of spirals within each dimension. And along these spirals are these portals. And this is the image they've been giving me. And each time we hit a portal, there is the possibility of skipping over it, which is temporary. It's sort of like, you'll hear some people talk about people who are elevating from the fourth to fifth dimension. They'll straddle each dimension and they'll sort of hop back and forth between the fourth and the fifth. It's sort of like that. Really, we're always hopping. We need the third dimension. It's very essential. But at the same time, we can skip over these portals, but it's temporary. Ultimately, we have to go back in order to continue to elevate sustainably. At some point, we actually have to pass through the portal. And the only way to do that is to transmute our density or our shadow. And each time we hit a portal, the higher we go, the less dense we have to be in order to pass through. So some people call this shadow work. Really it's just being honest with ourselves and being real with ourselves about our insecurities, our fears, our doubts, and things that hold us back or keep us down and keep us out of our heart and keep us out of our love. When we start transmuting these things and acknowledging these things and integrating these things, we automatically start raising our vibration. And that raising of the vibration essentially is passing through a portal. Now, they keep showing me this, I think, because, and this is what I've been feeling, is this density, this weight, which happens when there's a big jump. When there's a big jump about to happen, typically, we can call it a rock bottom, what have you, however you experience it, but it's sort of a weighted energy or a dense energy or heavy. It doesn't feel light. It doesn't feel like very, crystalline or pure or joyful. It can feel very heavy. And that's typically what happens when we pass through a portal, because all of it is coming up for our awareness and all of it is coming up for our release. And this is all serving our growth. And we're in a massive one right now. And the energy is, I've been experiencing it in various ways. It's sometimes heavy, sometimes it's murky. Sometimes I feel like, and I can relate this to other points in my life where there's a big change to my physical reality as well. It feels like a lack of motivation or aloneness. And this in the past happened most significantly when I was graduating either from high school or from college. Each time it meant stepping from a very familiar way of life and entering a new chapter where I didn't know what it was going to be like. And that's what I've been feeling, but it's sort of like a spiritual graduation we're going through. There is this giant leap that's been building, and again, I think it's going to happen fast, as leaps do. And right now, it's sort of that final stretch where we're asked to stay focused, to stay committed to our visions, stay committed to what we want to bring through. And at the same time, not judge ourselves for how we're feeling, allow ourselves to feel how we feel. But that doesn't mean give up. That doesn't mean change the plan. That means have patience and stay committed, stay focused, and pay attention to what's asking for your attention now. For me, it's rest in my meditation practice, which I karmically have a lot of resistance to. But at the same time, they've been breaking me wide open in terms of really seeing the value of the foundationalness of my spiritual practice. It's really, without it, I am lost. So they're putting that pinch on me and this is where the murkiness comes in, where I don't feel a sense of direction, meaning I'm not still enough and I need to be more still in order to get clarity, which is my design. It's not everyone's design. But that pinch that's happening in my life is getting me to really pay attention to these foundational practices, because when that leap happens, it's going to be go time. And the only way for my system to handle it is if I'm prepared, if I have these practices set in stone, and not in a way where I'm forcing, but in a way in which I want to do it, and it's natural that I do it, and there's this natural inclination to do it, which is a process, and it's a process that I am respecting. And that helps with the density. That helps not judge where I'm at, because I do feel, Mars is opposing my Saturn right now, so I just generally feel weak, but it's almost like this is also a lesson of me just observing the weakness so that I can really come into a sense of wholeness within myself, to understand that there's ebbs and flows to these things. And even though I'm feeling weak now, doesn't mean that I'm not going to be able to handle what's to come. And if anyone's feeling that, that is definitely the case. The energies right now are very weird. It's very, it's hard for me to pinpoint, but that's the imagery they keep giving me over and over again, is these spirals with these portals along the spiral. And as we elevate, we have to pass through them. And the one we're passing through now feels bigger than usual. So if you're feeling dense, you're feeling low, definitely rest, definitely nurture, dial up the self-love, and protect. I'm noticing too, I can't consume too much. Even if I open up my phone for a little bit, it feels too heavy. But when I'm out in nature, I feel like $1,000,000. And that's the only place I really feel great right now is when I'm in connection, when I'm in meditation, when I'm with the angelic realms, connecting to the angelic realms and being in that energy, which is my guidance, which is telling me that's where I need to be. So definitely pay attention to those things, because it is all guidance, and we're being pointed exactly to where we need to be. And the go time, which you might be hearing this from other channels, like it's go time, but the go time could be to turn inward, which is my case, because this, in my design, stillness is a foundational thing for me. In order to be able to be clear in my action, I have to be still. It's the stillness is where I get all my clarity. So however that plays out for you, it's different for everyone, what gives us clarity. And it's important to pay attention to those things and really note those things, like, oh, when I'm doing this and when I'm in this space, I feel great. So how can I bring this space more and more into my life and be more present with it more and more, so that I can be more and more clear? I'm sending love and wishing you well. Bye.